14 October Friday. The truth on last night's CPI data. What if I tell you that last night's CPI data is not exactly what you know in the market? I know by saying this itself, I could have stunned a lot of people. I probably get a bit of hate mails going on, but I need to share something very incredible with you. Alright, so watch this CPI data analysis and see whether do you follow what I say. Okay, let's go. Now, yesterday itself, it was a crazy day, so remember this risk management is very, very important. As long as you control it itself, you can make good money. And thank you, Ames, for the kind sponsorship. Now, yesterday the CPI data was bad. Yeah, it was bad. 8.2 is bad, but the stock market rallied, and in fact, the stock market went above 30,000 at one stage. Okay, in fact, it closed at 30,000. In fact, 30,000, and the Nasdaq went up by 200 points, and the S&P almost up 100 points. So, what actually led to this, and how did the market rebounded in such a crazy manner itself? Right, I'll explain to you shortly. Okay, but then again, let's look at the CPI data. Now, the CPI data came out 8.2%, okay? The market was actually looking at 8 and below. And when it came out 8.2, obviously the market go into a selling mode. Let me explain to you why. This is what this number here. This is a US CPI urban consumer. Alright, you can see the numbers is there. Yes, it's off the high, but it's still at the higher range, okay? And that is still at the highest level since 1982, okay? So this is not a good number, alright? Despite the Federal Reserve having increasing interest rates, try to slow down inflation, but the numbers still stay high, right? That is the first big concern. And of course, remember this last night, I already told you yesterday. In fact, yesterday I was telling you guys that the CPI data will come out about 8.3, while most are looking at 7.9. Alright, so all this information was shared during my MAO video yesterday. And of course, student of mine, they actually profited very nicely. We shorted the market together, and of course, look at the market itself, right? The type of profit that the students has profited between 1,000 point to 500 point on two separate trades. So one on 7 October and one was shorter than 10 October. And of course, the market gave the profit on 13 October. Congratulations to everybody. And if you want to know more about this, contact us. Right, Cal, I will follow you. Okay, let's continue on this. Now, the pressure itself, you can see that we are now still at the high since 1982. The core CPI data, excluding the food and energy prices. All right. So the thing is that if it's so bad, then why is the market up yesterday? I mean, it went down first initially, yeah, but why it goes up? Okay, let me explain to you very slowly. Okay. Now the thing is that initially why the market came down was because of the 8.2, the November rate hike expectation shoot up. Alright, 75 basis point is confirmed, but apparently now there's some speculation that we can go even to 100 basis point, and that's 20% odds, okay? So this is why the market initially sold off. Again, that is the initial reason. Then, of course, why didn't it stay there? Why it stay low for a while and then after recover, right? Okay, because the boys were shorting big time before that as well. The boys were heavily short. In fact, it was one of the heaviest short for some time. So bad that it's as if that the boys know exactly will happen. So think about this. When the data come out, the market shoot down, alright, stop loss get triggered. All the options are in huge profit. So guess what happened? Yes, the boys buy back their position. And once they have done that as well, right, they'll buy into the physical, the cash market too. And after that, those who shorted because they saw the thing, and what happened? When the price rebound, there's a short squeeze. So that's the reason why the market rebounded so strongly. So let me show to you now. This is where the CPI data came out, okay? And of course, the futures market dived right down, right under here. Then what happened? We have the terminal rate expectation going like to 100 basis point and market go crazy, right? But you notice that what happened once the cash market opened, the boys buy back heavily. Yes, the boys buy back heavily into the market, and that is really, you know, it was a really one trip down, profited, and then swing it up all the way. So that was one reason why the S&P 500 or the US equity market recovered. So the boys booked their profit. Okay, that's not the end. If you look deeper, it could be the MACD, it could be a moving average, it could be anything itself. But yesterday, the 200-week MA moving average itself, right, since 2011 has a very incredible support reason. And of course, yesterday we saw the S&P tripping on it. So of course, on one side, could this be the bottom of the market, or is this going to be the next sell-off? We can't be sure, but this is one of the technical reason too. But to me itself, right, if you look carefully to the CPI data, that's where it gets very interesting. You will notice that the commodities less food and energy has came off. It's the service that went up, okay? It's the consumer services less energy services is going up. So this is where the thing gets interesting. Let me explain to you right now, everybody. Now let's study this carefully. Now this is the percentage change in the CPI on the urban consumer. That is the CPI data. Now you notice that, okay, we have quite the same numbers, okay? And of course, we have a drop in energy, okay? A drop in energy. That was pretty good, right? You can see that? Okay. But what is the main thing was here, the upside was the transportation service, the medical care service, and the shelters remain staying firm. Okay, so these are the reason why the CPI data actually maintain on the higher side. Okay, the higher side. And of course, if you look at the weightage right now, that's where it gets interesting. The shelter itself, right, entirely takes 32.2 of the whole 100 weight. That means that, right, shelter alone take 32.2. So that's the reason why, because the shelter price is not really coming down. And that is the reason why the CPI data stay up. Then of course, again, if that is the case itself, right, then why did the market recover? Well, if you actually look deeper, you will notice something very interesting. Because if you look at Redfin, this website that is basically getting all the rental numbers most updated, right, for some reason, you can see that the number is coming off. Yes, the number is coming off. Then why the numbers here is higher? That's where it gets interesting. Apparently, the data that you get for the shelter area, right, is about 3 to 6 months delayed, or at least not to the most updated accordingly itself. And that is the problem here. So if you put them side by side, right, you will notice an incredible difference. Okay, there's a PowerPoint issue here. Let me bring it up for you. Moment. Okay, here we go. All right, let me just do this again. You can see that this is what the market is seeing right now, whereby you see the rent inflation and the shelter inflation is all going up, right? But when we come to this itself, right, it's actually not reflecting the thing. And look at it. This is from Bloomberg, and consumer anticipation of housing price to decline, and it means that there's reaction. When the interest rate factors go in ready, right, people expectation will change, and the rental price and home prices are coming down, as we all know. But why this side itself, right, is high? So this is where you get a question mark over here. And of course, if you put them side by side right now, right, you will notice an incredible part. Now this is what the Federal Reserve used. Okay, you can see that itself, right, in 2020 to 2021, the numbers came off, right? Okay, this way you can see very clearly. But in reality itself, right, in 2020 to 2021, the number went up. Okay, can you see that right now? So what is happening is the data that is being used and the updated data itself, right, is not really the same. So which means that, right, this data that we are using right now apparently is a little bit behind. So now what we are seeing is the current figure now has came off, but the one on this side here is still the high. So, which means that very soon, okay, very soon, once we have the market capitulation, once we have the market coming down, then what happened is that the CPI data will actually show you what is supposed to be correct or truthful right now. It will basically come off. So it makes sense that now we could see a bottom from the inflationary data soon. But of course, on this side itself, I need to remind you that energy prices must stay low. So what if the energy prices actually still go up? Then this is not going to help, okay? But again, with the shelter percentage at 32.2, well, we got a chance here. So it is very clear that inflation will likely be coming down, maybe by probably February or March next year in terms of official figure. So that's the reason why I've been telling you this. Let the market drop a bit more, buy from the bottom. We should be getting it correct. Pretty cool, right? This stuff. Incredible. And of course, tonight we have the banks earning. Okay, before the market, we have JP Morgan Chase, we have Morgan Stanley, Citibank, Wells Fargo. Now, yesterday, look at all the bank, Credit Suisse, Bank of America, JPM, Citibank. Everyone went up by between 6% to 3%. This is incredible. But of course, the question is this, okay? The boys have already heavily shorted the market, and yesterday was a very good one for them. They all profited. Or it could be a trap that this is being pumped up just to have the buffer before the release of this data. It's going to be a big question mark here itself. So to me, in my opinion, I'll be watching the market very closely later, and of course, in my opinion, I believe that the earnings can't be any better, okay? Or the forward itself can be good. So to me, this is really a very well organized entrapment yesterday, where the boys shorted the market, buy the puts. Yesterday, market crashed down itself, then they basically buy back from the low, the share price, and confuse everybody. And now people don't know what to do, right? But to me itself, it's pretty clear. Follow the chart, it will make your life easy, okay? Let's look at the chart for today and see what we have. Now, for today, we can see over here, before we go to my TWB chart, I want to show something right here, right now. Give me a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is really incredible, guys. This is really incredible. Now, remember I told you about the 5% rule, and I told you that from here itself, from the 80%, the next target is 75%, and I told you that this very imaginary number, 77.5. Yes? Now, you see this, the last time when the market came down, broke the 80%, it came down to this point and perfectly it stopped there and rebounded. Can you see that? Excellent, right? The thing is this, it hit to this point. Where this point again? This one is the between mark between the 80% to the 85, so it's 82.5, and the market stopped here. And when it hit that, it came back down. And last night, oh my goodness, the market hit the same number again and rebound. So I'm not even half surprised that tonight we may actually see this happening again. I'm not half surprised, okay? Now, in terms of technical, right, I take these 2 points and I extended itself, right, you notice that, oh my god, the extension is beautiful, okay? So, which means that if the market continue to go up, okay, there is a chance that the Dow may have to touch 30,830 level so that it can hit this technical point before another pull off. But of course, my first target will still be here at 30,487. Now, I'm not very comfortable to call for a buy right now because now the what do you call, the leverage and the upside potential is not really worth it. I'd rather watch this area here. If the market couldn't go any higher, probably the chance of it coming back down here to here itself is a better trade. Think about this, okay? Alright. Now, I'm still looking at the market to break this eventually. Now, take note, guys, if the market ever loses to 28,639, this incredible support, then the market to drop all the way here to 27,715 is going to be very, very high possibility, okay? And based on the RSI at 50% marker itself, right, I think that we can see a chance of this actually happening. Okay, so traders, watch out for this. This is very important. Now, China market today recovered after two long tails, two hammer reversal. We are seeing the market recovering, but it's still very far away from the 13,000 psychological point, and it's still below the long-term trend line. So let's hope it stays here, because if not, it's alright, it can still go down. I'm still looking at the China A50 to come down to 12,280 level. It's still a very strong possibility, alright? Let's look at the TWB chart right now. Okay, on the TWB front, we have the KSI that's still heavily red, uptick, but the sign on the KRW shows otherwise. So you can see that's the reason why the last 2 days when the market was doing sideways doji, I told you guys there'll be a big movement coming in, and true be told, it was big enough. Okay, it's very big. Okay, so whatever we said has really manifested. Now the question is this: the BNB is a new one. The BNB RL is 30,187. So this is the key resistance and support right now. Write it down. 30,187. The market has to stay above 187. If not, the pullback can bring it down all the way back to 28,642. Okay. Now this is going to be a big BNB. It's a very big one. This target, if it stays above the RL, wow, the Dow can go all the way to 31,732. The one that's technical, all right? That's almost 1,000 point, okay? On the downside, the market can go back down to 27,098. So, from where we are right now, right? If the upside potential can be up by another potentially 1,500 points, the downside potential can be as much as 3,000 points. Wow, this is really big. Okay, so traders, you should basically watch this number. I repeat myself, 30,187 will be a very crucial resistance and support support turn resistance level. Very crucial. Okay. All right. And of course, if we look at the chart again in terms of the technical trend line, you can see it's pretty clear. All right. Okay, so that is the Dow Jones. Let's look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq also had the same BNB, and look at the tail is pretty big. Okay, now for today, the opening price is already above pivot 1. Now earlier the Dow Jones don't have pivot. Now take note of that. Okay, now the KSI, look at the buy interest is really huge. Okay, but incredibly the weightage on the KRW is actually red, so that can be another fight between the bulls and bears. Okay, now what is happening right now? As long as the Nasdaq stays above 11,093, we should see the Nasdaq testing this potential figure, and that's MA30 at 11,341. But same thing again, the market has to stay above the BNB RL, which is 11,093. It's a very crucial number. Okay. S&P 500. Now, S&P 500 also did a strong reversal. You can see again, the boys was heavily buying. So when the price came down on the CPI data, the boys take the initiative to buy up all the market all the way up the south. And now the resistance now has become 36.24, and the market is way above it right now. So as long as the market stays, 36.86, my bad. 36.86 is a very important RL level. Now the market is now at 36.98, so it's still way above it, but it has to stay above 36.86. All right, we must watch this level, very important. Upside potential 37.19 on the MA30, but overall the boys are still buying. Hang Seng today, strong recovery. Now Hang Seng today is a good day for buying because the opening price was already above the pivot 1, and we all know that as long as market stays above OP and above pivot 1, it's always a good buy. And of course the DJDD has double confirmed that we should just buy and hold the position. So this morning when the market was opening price was 26,629, it was a long all the way to today now, and until now it's 16,926, so which means the market up by 300 points. Okay, very nice trade. And of course the MLP was 6606, so it's above OP, above MLP, above pivot 1, bang, goodbye. But the KSI and the KRW both are red, so which means that you should take profit along the way. You shouldn't still hold it over too much because the indicator shows that it likely will not close at the day high. So traders, please watch out for that. For the Nikkei right now, bang, what a recovery. Look at the size of this. The entire movement itself from the lowest to the highest is about nearly 950 points. So this is going to be a gigantic BNB. Upside potential is 27,789. Now it has broke above MLP, above MA30, and is going for MA200 at 27,234. I suspect that the Nikkei will touch this thing rather easily. Now let me just refresh my chart one more time. Okay, the KSI is buying. The KW weightage is on the sell side, though there will be a bit of fight, but the latest number shows that the buying has come together. So that's why 27,234 on the to reach for the Nikkei is a very high possibility. Now later on, likelihood, right, we will see the European market continue, because you can see the DAX yesterday came back down. It breaches the pivot 2 at 12120. Then after that, it strongly recovered because of the US market too, and it broke MLP, shot up all the way, broke above pivot 1, and went all the way to MA30 as 12407. Now I suspect that later on it may test the BNB RL level, and that's 12,678. Alright, likely it will test around this level, so traders take note of that. Okay, now let's look at the crude oil. Crude oil market yesterday did the same thing. It basically tested the BNB RL, but then because of the US market recovery, it went back up itself. Now for today, it's above MLP, it's above pivot 1, it's above MA30, KSI is green, KRW is cyan. Beautiful, everything looks good, so which means that there is a chance that the market will test 90-60 later today or Monday itself, right? I believe that will happen. Now the good this is that whenever the crude oil price goes up, equity market usually follow. But of course, on the flip side, That means that if the crude oil price do come to 90.6, it will be at the highest levels for the entire last 2 months. The last month itself, in the month of September, the highest it ever went was 90.11. So if it goes to 90.60, it will be the highest level for the 2 months, and of course that will give another reason for people to get worried because of the inflation issue. Okay, so traders, take note of that. My take is going to go up. The bad part is that means inflation is going to be again on the cards. Okay, so that's the crude oil. Now let's look at the gold market right now. This is gold. Okay, now for gold, you can see that we have a very big movement here. It is a BNB. Not too sure why my BNB is not coming up. I think there's some error here itself. Never mind. Okay, now the thing is this. Look out for the upside potential at 1674. Okay, if the gold price stays up, it will go up to 1674. But fundamentally, if the dollar is strengthening right now, I find it a bit difficult. Okay, so I'm going to give you my view here. KSI and KCX are having mixed signal, but if the market can stay above MLP 1669, we should see 1677. But on the flip note, if the market stays below OP and break my KCB at 1660, then the downside could be 1634. Okay, 1634. All right. I'll fix my BNB on this thing here. Did I cancel it myself? Let me just double check. No wonder I cancel it myself. Okay, I was thinking out loud whether did I make a mistake here. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Okay. So the upside potential is 1722. The downside is 1602. Okay, so that is the gold. Now let's look at silver. Now silver also did a strong recovery momentum yesterday, okay, from the low end, and now it's staying above 1890 level. Now MLP is 1894, so as long as the market stays above 1890, we should be fine. Now I'm still looking at silver to go all the way up again, but like I say, if the dollar is strengthening across the board, then of course that will give some pressure. I would love to buy some silver at about $17 region. Okay, that will be the best of the best time to buy. Both KSI is giving a mixed bag between them, so we have to wait for a while for it to come down or move to the next technical point for a good buy. All right, that was for gold and silver. Let's look at this Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now we have a strong touch. 1252 touch, went down low of 1180. Oh my god, and then it went all the way up, and now it's at 1327. So which means that from the lowest end to the current price right now, Ethereum has basically went down by $140 and came back up again. This is incredible long tail, right? So a lot of funds came in to buy. Now both KSI and KCX shows bullishness, so undeniable we see 1380 in the near term for Ethereum. 1380. Now, Bitcoin yesterday slammed down all the way down to 18,141. All right, basically clearing all the stops right here. That's beautiful. And then now it recovered, right? Now the target is as long as it stays above MLP and above MA30, the upside potential could be 2864. Okay, although that this is not the thing that I really want, but I'm a chartist. I follow the chart, so if the chart says it will go up, then we will follow through. Both KSI and KCX are very bullish right now, so the upside is 2864 is actually possible. But of course, once again, it really depends on the earnings tonight. If the earnings from the banks are bad, then of course this may change course. So we have to watch this very closely. All right. Okay. Before we go, I want to bring you to some count stocks. Okay. Remember I told you about Tesla. Okay. I told you Tesla 207 will be a good time to buy. Oh my god, yesterday Tesla really came down to 206.2, and then after that heavy volume accompanied by technical, bang, it went back up again. So for those who shorted with us, congratulations, you have bought back at 207. Well done. So how high now would Tesla go? So by right itself, right, if let's say everything goes according to plan, then Tesla will come up to here. So let me just revise this tape right now. There's a gap here. Can you see that? There's a gap here. Yeah, there's a gap here. So the upside could be all the way to 237, 238 level. Okay, it could go there. And of course, the next gap will be here. That will be at 265. And of course, the next gap, it will be somewhere around here already. And that will be about 282. Now, of course, can Tesla go down further? Well, in the near term, I don't think so. I think this is the first base already. But if you insist me to come out a number for you for the next potential downside target, then by right itself, there's a gap here. Can you see there's a gap here? and that will be the level thing the market will consider, and that's 188 level. Now, of course, for Tesla to hit 188, that means we're going back to what happened in 2021. That's gonna be like freaking the market up, because from what this point here, it ever go all the way after the stock split 410. So that means from this point here of 2192 to this here is about 100% return. That's a very good investment if you'd ask me. Okay, so that is the Tesla. Then let's look at the other regional information like we have is 10-year yield. Now the 10-year yield, we can see that initially it was up all the way, right? It went all the way to 1408. Okay, it's even higher back then, right? Then what happened? Because of the sudden Wall Street started buying the market, hence the yield also pull off a little bit. So, but the thing is still standing firm, and of course, I believe that it's going to go new high in the short term, because interest rate will still have to continue to come in. And of course, when you talk about the US dollar, yesterday we have a strong BNB, and but is it going to be a constant? No, I don't think so. I believe that it will come back down again to 111 level, and then after that, the next movement is 115. Okay, I suspect that will happen. The only thing is that it's a BNB on the chart, so traders, you need to be very careful. If the market chooses to go down, it's alright. Don't fight against it. Okay, all right. And last but not least is VIX. VIX yesterday went up to almost 34, and then it pulled back. Now, of course, I'm still looking at it to stay up to 42, 44, but it's a long-term position. It cannot be done immediately. So if you think that you're in a short-term gain, you think you're profitable, just take and go. That is the best thing to do. All right, guys. I wish you all the best for today's trading. Remember, the earnings coming out before the market, and I wish you well for this weekend. I'll see you again on Monday. This is Cal signing off. Bye bye.